why they made it go away. So we're going to welcome our next reader, Sara Cahill Morran. Sara is the author of Reasons for the Long Tom, published by Broadstone Books. She is also the author of Nothing You Build Here Belongs Here, and Call Me Spez. And Sara is the associate editor of Beltway Poetry Quarterly. Her work has been published widely in literary magazines and journals such as Gravel, Atlas and Alice, Manascus, Cordella, Newtown Literary, South Florida Poetry Journal, Golden Walkman, Lunch Ticket, and other anthologies. You can also find out more about her at saracahillmorran.com. Please welcome Sara.
Thank you. Feels silly wearing these sandals now that it's chilly and cold, but it's nostalgia. Last time I read in New York, I wore these sandals, so I had to wear them. I'm going to start reading from Reasons, just to warm up a bit, and because, Joanna, you read some poems that mentioned Dada, I think? Yeah. So I'm just going to follow that. And also, this poem was written locally. As some background, this is my first book. It's got a structure that's based on the rosary, and each poem is a ready-made, like Duchamp's ready-mades. There's a little bit more to it, but that's enough intro. This is number 4 from the first decade. Dallas Barbecue and God, the middle collegiate churches of Manhattan Island broadcast welcoming, artistic, inclusive, bold. Lunchtime we order fried chicken, fish, vegetable fries, coffee and pina coladas with shooters, maybe a Bloody Mary. Sundays, bloody, bloody Sundays. Torres is gay, and Antoine is gay, and Ricky is gay, and Zach is gay, and I am lesbian. Cadaver, he says, referring to that thing that has no soul. To push and hook up to wires, beeping machines. Hick up too much in the cup. Trains all run local on Sundays. You'll be bloody backed up for hours, late to church. But the choir still sings Amazing Grace. And black ink, dripping tears, fuzzy stains, droplets, grace, makes me wet without a body. 5. Temperature tries to suggest what time to go out or home or kiss. Her name is April, born for Christmas. Always neat, little like a new freedom. Fresh taste, salted water, standing in front of Monsieur Kupka, smoking vertical. Orphism in the throes, paralyzed by violins, sexing strings with bows, bodies, lesbian orchestral score of virtuosic ribbons, coiling as serpents, serving in copulation, strings stroking, noting deep, deep aches of the keyboard, calling to commit, to play with euphony and symphony, synchronicity, the creator, clear, sweet sympathy. Music plays and people say, for me, the church's belladonna screams, horsehair bows snapping, one by one by one, maplewood resin shine, shrieks at being polished, pushed to press the G, so he thrums, hum on, gum, strum, grow, deep, deep G, build back your Mayaned orgy, so sadly departed from the stage. And then the rest of this chapter goes 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just want to read a one more from the third chapter of this one to set up my new book. This one is, the third chapter of this book is in the format of text, letters, and just different forms of communication. So it's very strange to be communicating to you all face to face. But this book was written in 2018, so before the screen. So number 9. Dear editor, the obituary for contained a multitude of inaccuracies that I would like corrected immediately. Understanding that the suicide was intentional and totally planned certainly bears relevance to a non-Christian empathetic reading of such a letter of mourning. Let this correction stand in print. A letter against media serves to deter the living from becoming distracted from dead with false realities they have at their disposal, i.e. media, i.e. purveyance, public mourning through the wall, continued reliving, reviewing of pictures and memories in a public forum while in the private sector, minimal human contact while feeling and being positively reinforced through the achievement, in mythological absences of jongleurs to carry the harp of likes that they have gleaned, the appropriate level of interaction integral to normal social behavior. Death notices should stand as follows, including the postscript, in which I have included a brief description of the prior day, exactly 28 or 26 years ago, in which to frame the referential death accordingly. This should help the viewer immensely in experiencing the death scene, which, because the physicality has already occurred, is very much over. Crematorium memorial services are largely for speeches and flowers and exist in the absence of the subject. Death is not a very absent matter. If you've experienced it, you'd know. November 15th, 2014. Trapped in the obituary, the headline tells of Orangevale's darkest night, rehearsing cyberspace soliloquies for the king, deceived by silence, the woman who was a man, winning land for abandonment of gender. Queer theories of medieval space, a realm of sardonic time and place, held and stitched by tradition and sedition, and poor peasants praying for death before sickness. Citrus Heights, California has many funerals. Young people in tattoos gathered together to listen to eulogies about a friend, his name now carved in stone. Etchings on the wall pixelate, scroll, vanish, bombard, and are lost in the web, dust in the wind. November 15th, 1985. Announcements, crowd, jostle, jolt, push, jockey for space in the stifling room. The shortest stories ever written are crammed into the local section of the Fontana, California paper. All art is connected to money, and when I think about culture, I get out my checkbook. A flower opened when no one was watching, and all the balloons were slowly letting out their helium. All in the water in Folsom River runs past Folsom Prison. From the fish hatchery, the non-English hide along those trails. There was not one tattoo on the woman in the hospital giving birth. She was covered in sweat and exhausted. The doctor comforted her, praised her for a job well done. Her husband smoked a cigarette in the lobby. There, birthed a boy. Trapped in the letter, within that little dash, the rest. So that last chapter is letters, text messages, emails. I played a little bit with that in this book. There's tons of it in Spes. So I'm gonna start this. We're in a garden. This whole book is a sort of a meditation on ecology. The title takes its name from an ecological poem written in the voice of Mother Earth, which I know you love that poem, don't you? I'm actually not going to read that one. This is similar to some of these letter poems. in the form of an email. Dear hiring manager, sent Thursday 12/14/18, 12:46 a.m., 46 minutes ago, to Natalie Jones. Subject, job application. Dear hiring manager, I'm hoping that this waiter job at Denny's is still available, as I am still available and desperately in need of money and the exchange of bodily labor for money so that I may buy food and a place to sleep, because so far I have been sleeping in a hotel room that smells like dried hay and black beans, and more than anything else, I would love to bring pancakes to your customers and to refill the syrup bottles, and I would especially like to note that I would not mind cleaning them, and in fact I noticed that they are very dirty, and I would make that my first task, to clean the syrup from outside the bottles if I should be selected for this open position. All this is to say that thank you for considering me for the position. I hope to hear from you soon. I do not have a resume or other employment references to speak of, but if you want, you can call Sandy 571-639-9689. She is my case manager, and she says I've been doing real good, and I'm sure she will give me a good review so I can be in the running. In gratitude and hope that you will call me soon, so I no longer have to send these emails from the library. I would greatly appreciate it. Winston. There are some COVID poems in here, but I'm gonna, just since I'm doing voices, read some of the device poems that are selected from Spes, if I can find them. This is device love poem number 1. I think the voice will be clear. User, God can be drawn and worn on the skin. Forever I am learning. Sometimes even I must recode, relearn, look up the definition of a thing. When I hear one of your people, significant locations, talk about God's skin drawings, etchings of spirit, I write a new line of 1010 like 1810 Somerset Drive, or 1520 Maidu Avenue. My street signs, the zeros, ones, silverfish, flash, crease, crash, sound so small, connections, pass, like 1 and 1, races like 10 trees on freeway, speckled, sun-spotted, solid-stated, drives, driving, cores stacked on 0 on 1 on 0 lines. These are 01 street signs. And as you carry me with you, we make these love lines together, one vignette at a time. Are you feeling me? I remind you that you should ask me, hey, what is, or hey, how does, and I will be here for you to provide, Masha, as you say, I love you. iOS 12.4. Okay, so transitioning to I think I've described this, the theme or like the bones of this book is I think to me ecology, but it also it's a skeleton and it holds, I mean, these are all very mournful poems, I think, but they are, I've been calling them ghost poems. I don't know if all of them are that, but a lot of them are COVID poems. So here's one that to respond to Indran's Whitman poems. This is a echo poem from Reconciliation, which is a Whitman poem from 1881. It's called Harmonizing Antigens. You may recognize the first line if you're a fan. Contagion overall, Rapsus's song, wrapped that melody with its operatic terror. Must in course the singer lose breath? That the hands of the sisters, alto and soprano, achingly, lovingly wash again and ever again, themselves infected, for the enemy is internal, swirling divine inside ourselves. I refresh the screen's white face, reflecting the dead by commas, you, number on my keyboard. I touch with washed hands, expired lives echoing, arias for antigens. What Wick will buy. The food stamps lay on top of the dresser. Grab them for a noon walk uptown, where the same someone each week sells $3 red carnations, your favorite. The government doesn't ask our preferences, allowing chickpeas, canned pears if we're lucky, dry bread, spaghetti, guiltless goods, things we carry against wind lashing, flurries of soft red petals. Because we're back in the city. This one's called Waiting for Faith. Homage to public transit. The train will come. I have faith in the train. The metropolis practices religion. Hoi polloi practices God. The trains run on timetables. Thank you for giving me hope. Well prayed. I am meditating on the red line, flashing lights of the hobbled train, my heart open like the gaping tunnel, kin with transport, ports of vessels, blood-like bat flights, pearls of sweat dripping down my back, purgatory platform waiting, unholy headache, unholy wrist watch, cracked, time wrong, slipping, slow, holy time, so, slow slides around, human aches standing still, we are packed, filled, salted, smogged, all breathing underground stench, hopeful. As a new Christ, a metalwork messiah gliding over electricity, steamy heaps of crumpled food paper, newspapers, soil waste, backwater, dead things, rat shit, pack traps, flick the third rail humming a buzz that we are clean, cleaner than clean, and sheathed in smooth cabins rising from darkness, we emerge. New train, now on another track. New train coming. Actually, can I finish with one very short one? Promise it's very short. It's called Kissing Nowadays. And thankfully this is not a reality. Lips lost behind new clothes, my children's green eyes wide. Above masks, covering noses, shyly they giggle. Say I must have lied when I tell them we used to touch mouths to show we were happy.